Good morning and welcome to today's Caregiver Health and Wellness webinar from Me to You Intergenerational Drama class. My name is Allegra Jaffe and I am a caregiver specialist with the Fairfax Area Agency on Aging. Before I introduce today's speakers, I will go over some housekeeping items with you. We will allocate a few minutes at the end of the presentation for you to submit your questions by typing it into the question box. If you have questions about the activities we're going to be doing, you're more than welcome to ask them in live time. And if we're able, we will get to them throughout the presentation. I also have enabled closed captioning. If you would like to use subtitles, you can enable them on your Zoom panel on the bottom, and you can click Show Subtitles. Today's presentation is being recorded, and a recording will be sent to all the registrants within a week. There will be a brief survey as you sign out. Please help us by giving us your feedback today. Now it's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker and instructor, Haley Murphy. She has been a theater director and a teaching artist for almost 30 years. She is the founder and director of Dodgeball Theater, an educational theater company with the mission of educating, developing, and supporting the next generation of theater artists through workshops, stage reading, mentorship, and through the Teen Ensemble, a devised theater program for teen performance artists. She has been working regionally around the country, including developing and directing a summer drama camp for youth in Western Maine. She continues to direct and teach in the DC and Northern Virginia area, developing workshops and curriculum-based creative drama lessons, supporting and producing new works, and directing projects across all ages from preschool to adult. She is a winner of multiple local theater awards and is a graduate of Bennington College, where she majored in directing and minored in early childhood. And she is currently a student in the Creative Teaching through Drama Certificate program at Catholic University. Haley is going to share her expertise with us today. Thank you, Haley, and welcome.
Hi, thank you, Allegra. Thank you for that introduction. It always sounds so impressive when you hear your bio being read. It's really not. Hi, everyone. My name is Haley Murphy. I'm a teaching artist and director, as Allegra said. I've been teaching and creating theater all of my adult life. And I'm here because drama is first and foremost fun. When you're doing drama activities, you are encouraging silliness, you're encouraging thoughtfulness, creativity, but most of all, it's about connections to other people. In fact, drama is the only art form that you can't do by yourself. So if you were to use drama activities within your own family, it is a great way to connect with each other in a really playful, fun way. It can be high energy, it can be low energy, it can be spontaneous, it can be really thoughtful. It can be silly, it can be serious. You can use drama activities to calm and focus. You can use things to think outside the box, or just share stories and ideas with each other. You know, just having fun with each other and listening to each other can be a really nice way to share time and energy with each other in your family, and also kind of get to know more about how each person thinks, the stories that they carry around with them. Just one more thought, which is that I chose this title from Me to You because it captures the idea of one of the most important parts of creative drama, and that is being spontaneous and using what's called improvisation, which is creating things in the moment. And what that means is when somebody gives you an idea, you don't block it or reject it. You take it and then you build on it. And that's sort of the entire essence of improvisation and creative drama. And I felt like that captured the idea of what we were doing here today, working together and sharing and building off of one another. So that's what we're going to do. So you actually, as viewers and participants, you might not know a whole lot about drama. You might think about it strictly in terms of Broadway or Shakespeare or massive scripts that people have to learn lines. Those are all parts of it. But in all drama, we only need three things. We need our bodies, we need our voices, and we need our imaginations. And that is it. You don't need anything else. And that's what we're going to be using today as well. I will say that I do like to use a prop or two in my life. And I'll tell you what that is. A prop is anything an actor picks up and uses on stage. Oh, this is my prop now. So we might use a prop or two as we go, but it's going to be just anything around you in your house and anything in the future that if you're to play any of these games, you have everything right there at your fingertips. So today I'm going to show you a 3-part session. I have what I consider to be the appetizers or our starter activities, the main course, sort of the meat of what we're going to do today, and just a little bit of dessert at the end, because we always want something sweet to end the day. So as I'm describing or demonstrating with Allegra some of these things, I'm thinking about you as at least 2 or 3 people of different ages using these activities together. They are all adaptable, though. You could use them with a bigger group. You could use them with your entire family. You could, most of these, play with people online as well. A lot of these I've done with my extended family over Zooms during the past couple of years. And in addition, anyone who's chair-bound can do all of these. So they're really meant to incorporate everyone that you might be playing them with. All right, so up to you to decide how mobile you want to be and how many people you want to include, and I'll kind of explain each one as we go as well. Also, one more thing, a lot of these are great to just pull out of your back pocket and play anywhere. I used to use little creative drama games with my kids when we were waiting for the doctor. It was like a great distraction, kind of to, keep them going. And the great thing about drama games is they're different every time you do them. So you can do what I'm doing with you today in order and have like a whole workshop with your family, or you can just pick something that looks like fun and hold on to it in your head. All right, so let's get rolling. All right. So we're going into our appetizers, and those are our warm-ups. Warm-ups are low pressure. They are activities that might get our body, our voices, or our imaginations kind of revved up. So they're great to transition out of whatever your regular day might be, what you're thinking about, and into some creative drama play. They also are great because they get you to focus on the other people that you're going to be playing with. All right, so we're going to start with a stretch and focus activity that all acting students everywhere know. It's called the mirror exercise. So this can be done one-on-one, or it could be done with one leader and a lot of different followers. I'm going to demonstrate it with Allegra here today, and you can follow me at home, or you can face your partner at home, whoever you're watching this with, or you can face 2 partners, 1 leader and 2 people following. However you've got it set up, it works. Like I said, or you can just watch me and Allegra do it, okay? So if you're doing this at home, you're going to decide who's going to lead and who's going to follow. All right, and we'll switch it and you can go back and forth so a different person gets to lead. So remember, the leader is looking into the mirror and the mirror is reflecting back what the leader is doing. All right, so here up on the computer, I'm going to lead first. I'll let Allegra be the mirror, watching and reflecting back what I do. And here's how this goes. So again, you can do this sitting or standing. And whatever I'm doing in the mirror is going to reflect back at me. Good. You see how this works already? Nice. And as I'm doing this, and if you're following at home, or if you're doing this separately at home, you can just kind of listen to what I'm saying. A couple of tips for while you're doing it. One is try to keep looking at your partner right in the eyes. And that is hard. We kind of want instinctively to watch the movement. But if you watch your partner in the eyes, it becomes much easier to follow them. Yeah, it's hard, but it works. The second tip is not to go too fast. You don't want to trick your partner by like making crazy moves that they can't keep up with. In fact, if someone were to just look at me and Allegra right now, they might not even know which one of us is leading. And that is the goal. You just are kind of moving at exactly the same time. Good. And I'm going to stop my leading right there, and I'm going to switch it over to Allegra. Or if you're doing this at home with a partner, you can switch now too and have the other person start leading. So now I'm going to try to follow Allegra. Go ahead. Good. Thank you, Allegra. I'm going to keep following her. And also just mention that if you're doing this standing up, you can really use your whole body and try and get the legs and other parts of your body to follow along in the mirror. It can be tricky online too, because sometimes we have to flip whether we're facing right or facing left. Good. And I will say too, you can extend this a little bit if you want to when you are in the mirror by suggesting activities that you might actually do in a mirror, like brushing your teeth or putting on makeup, and have the other person very slowly following those actions. Good. And we'll just, oh yeah, you were going to brush your teeth there or put on lipstick. Yeah. Good. Thank you. We'll stop there, but you can keep going with any of these things. If you're in the groove, just go with it. All right. So you might be feeling a little awkward using your body in that way or unsure, and that is okay. That is a warm up. That starts to get us used to being a little bit silly with our bodies. So we're going to add a part 2 to this one. And this one's a little bit harder to demonstrate online, but we're going to do it anyway. So if you're with a leader at home, go back to your first leader, the first person that was the leader, and now they're going to lead again. And if you have an odd number of people, again, 1 leader, 2 followers, 2 leaders, 1 follower, it's all good. So this time, part 2, we're going to pretend to create puppets. And if you know what marionettes are, those are puppets with little strings all over their bodies, and the marionette puppeteers can make them move by pulling on their strings. So for us, we're going to pretend that our followers are our puppets and our leaders are our puppeteers. So the way that's going to work is we're going to pretend there are little strings all over our puppets' bodies. Those are our followers today. So when we start this time, because it's a little bit harder online, both Allegra and I will demonstrate on ourselves. So the way you might want to think about this is imagine little short strings all over your puppet's body. And the leader will grab onto a string just nice and close to their body. And what you can do if you're working together is you can pull their body parts around, and you want to kind of keep your focus on that string, both of you, so that you're working together to make that puppet move. So at home, you want to go ahead and try this with 1 leader and however many followers, or vice versa. You're going to find those little strings all over their body. You're going to pull the different body parts in different ways. Working together, really have to work together on this one. Keep your focus on those little short strings. You don't want them to get too long or it's really hard to follow. And another fun thing, if you're getting some good control over them, is what happens if you let go of that string? Their arms should just flop right down. Once you kind of get going, you've got a good rhythm working together, you can extend this in different ways. You can play with expressions on their faces. You might have little strings right here on their eyeballs, and you can go up and down, up and down. You might be able to play with their mouth a little bit. And try doing that without laughing. Or you can even, if you're mobile and you're working with somebody that's mobile, you can try lifting their feet 1 foot at a time, and get them to move across the room. And that is a great success if you can do that. Again, working together, keeping your focus on those little strings. You might be even to do like 1 finger at a time first to kind of get really in the groove with each other. Great. And that is a great part 2 to our mirror warm up. So good. And just remember, really keep working together on that one. So we're going to move on to a different kind of warm up now. But again, as always, just stay with whatever one is working for you. This one is a nice way to check in with each other before you get too far into your activity. Sometimes I do this right out of the gate, right before we start anything at all. Sometimes I might do this with my kids at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day. And all it is you're each going to take a turn answering this sentence. Today I am, and you're going to come up with any 3 words that describe where you are right now. What are you feeling right now? Who are you right this very minute? And they can be anything. They could be words that don't even necessarily make sense. You don't want to think about it too much. You just want to say the first 3 words that come to mind. So for instance, here's my example. Today I am happy, I am sleepy, and I am purple. That's what I am. That's just all there is to it. So I'm going to check in with Allegra. And while I'm checking in with Allegra, check in with the other people that you are with today and see how they are feeling today. Today I am. So Allegra, how are you today?
Today I am excited, relaxed, it's not, I'm tired.
I love it. And both excited and tired all at the same time. Absolutely. We can be so many things in any one moment. So I'm going to next ask Allegra to kind of tell me why one of those words, whichever one of them jumps out at me. And while I'm doing that, you can continue to check in with your partners. Which one word did they say that you'd like to kind of know why? Why do they feel that way? So Allegra, tell us why you're feeling excited today.
I'm excited today because I will be doing a baby shower today for myself. With my friends are doing a baby shower. So yeah.
That is awesome. We're so excited for you as well. And that's a great explanation for why Allegra is feeling excited. It also probably explains why she's feeling tired all at the same time. Good. And I hope you got a nice, interesting answer from the people that you are watching this with today. Remember, you can ask at any time. The answer is going to be different in an hour, and it's definitely going to be different in a day. So let's keep going. We're going to warm up our observation skills now. This is called 3 changes, and you can do this one-on-one or one with any number of people at once. Here's how it works. You're going to get a very short time limit for anyone you're playing with to just quietly observe their partner. That's all they're going to do. So for instance, I'm probably going to set my timer for just 10 seconds. That's enough. But at home, you could do this for any amount of time that you think it would be worth. You want to just watch your partner, or if you're watching us on screen, you're going to just watch Allegra and myself. All right. So during those 10 seconds, you're going to study your partner or study us. You're just going to face them and you're just going to look at them. All right, here we go. I'm going to set my timer for 10 seconds and it's going. So hopefully you're just watching either us on the screen for 10 seconds or you're watching your partner. And even though I'm talking through this time, the idea is that you're just silent. You're not asking any questions. You're not making any comments about what you see. You're just looking. And here we go. And time is up. Okay, 10 seconds goes really fast. All right, next, if you're at home doing this with a partner, you now want to turn your backs to each other. If you're doing it watching us on the screen, turn your back to the computer so you can't see what happens next, okay? Now, Allegra and I are going to make 3 changes to ourselves, what you can see in the screen, obviously, not what you can't see. And if you're at home doing this with a partner or partners, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to make 3 changes to yourself. And they could be anything from, putting glasses on or off to changing the direction of your jewelry. It could be something really big and obvious. It could be something really small. As I'm talking, hopefully you're starting to think of some changes you could make to yourself. All right, Allegra, are we ready to make 3 changes to ourselves?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. So hopefully nobody's peeking. And again, I'm talking as we're doing this because I know that sometimes you get stuck in this moment and can't really think of 3 changes. And if you're doing this on the computer, as we are, there's only a limited number of things you can sort of attack. But if you don't get to 3 changes, that's okay. Just do 1 change or 2. Oh, now I can see everything. Let's see. Okay. All right. Allegra has stopped and I have stopped. So I'm going to say we're ready. If you're watching us, you can turn back around again and look at the computer. If you're working with people at your home, they might not have gotten all 3 changes yet, but go ahead and turn around and take a look at them and let's see what you can find. Hopefully, as you look at them, you see 3 changes and you can just point them out and ask them, did you do this? Did you do this? And they'll say, yes, I did, or no, I didn't. All right, so let's see if you have noticed what our 3 changes are. Okay, all right, so Allegra, because we were watching ourselves and not watching each other, why don't you tell everybody what your 3 changes are and we'll see if people picked up on them.
So my 3 changes are my glasses are now on the top of my head.
Yep.
My hair is pushed back behind my shoulders. And I have a sweater covering me now.
Nice. I did notice the glasses. I think I noticed the hair, but the sweater, that was a good 3rd one. All right. So I did the opposite. I put my glasses on. I put my hair up And all I did for that third one, because I was kind of rushing, was I just tied this tie tight. So it used to be open, now it's tied. So there you go. We just made 3 changes. 2 of them, I think, were probably pretty noticeable. 1 was a little bit harder. And if you were doing this and kind of, slowing down with it, you could take your time to explore. Nope, try again, that kind of thinking. Good. That was great. All right, good. And another way you can extend this one is that you put your either one partner or group of partners into some kind of a pose. And then when you turn around and don't look at them, they change the pose. And then you come back and look at them again, and you try to figure out which parts that they've changed in that setup. And that can be fun as well. So that's good, guys. I feel like we're really in a warm-up groove now, but we are going to do another one. And this is a warm-up for our imagination. This is a game I like to call, This Is Not a Spoon. Okay, so in this one, I'm going to use some of the objects that I already have right here in front of me. If you were going to do this at home, and certainly in the future, a great way to start this is to tell your partner, go find me 5 objects, and you can give them any kinds of parameters. 5 objects that are blue. Or you might say, go find 3 objects that are soft, and you can just give them any kind of theme. And I'm just going to say, as a side note here, I used to play this when my kids were toddlers, and they would get such a thrill of running around the house and finding those 3 things that are pink or whatever it was. And that was sort of the end of the game right there, but it was great fun to do with them at that age too. All right, but today we're going to just demonstrate based on the objects that I have right here in front of me. And so we're going to start, because I happen to have pulled this out with a wooden spoon, but I know you remember the name of this game is This Is Not a Spoon. Okay, so the idea is once you get your objects, you're just going to pick one up, and the first person is going to take that object and say and use it in a way that it's not meant to be used. Now you can always pass on to the person back again. You can't think of something. That's fine. That's always fine. Or if you're doing it in a whole group, you're going to pass it around the group. So I'm going to go first, and I'm going to say to Allegra, this is not a spoon. This is a microphone. And I'm kind of singing as I go here. All right, so I'm going to pretend to pass that to Allegra. Allegra, what else is this?
This is not a spoon. This is a wand.
Perfect. Oh, I love that. That's so good. Okay, and I'm going to take it back from her. And I would probably go again, and I might say, this is not a spoon. This is a highlighter. I'm highlighting my text here. Okay, let's try one more. I'm going to give it back to Allegra.
This is not a spoon. This is a spatula.
Nice. Good, 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 good. Excellent. Oh, there's so many possibilities. A spoon is actually a really good one to start with. So you might go back and forth or around your group as many times as you've got good ideas. It might just fly out of you, or you might just, today we're not seeing anything related to a spoon. You know what? Pick up the next object. Try it again. So let's go on to this one now. So this is not a box. Nope, it's not a box. It is, this is a hat. I don't know. That's my choice for it for today. I probably could have come up with something else. All right, Allegra. So what is this?
This is, do I say this is not, start with a box?
You start with this is not a box. Yeah.
Okay. This is not a box. It's a puppy.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, good, good, good. Ooh, this is not a box. This is a smartphone. Good. Let's just try one more back to Allegra.
This is not a box. This is soap.
Oh, I love it. Very good, Allegra. Very good. Okay, excellent. So you see that can go on for quite a while. You could do that with all of your objects. You could just do it with one. Again, you're just kind of getting the sense of how things are flowing for you. Sometimes, even if you were to do the same game 3 days in a row, one day it might just be phenomenal and you just want to play it for an hour, and then the other days it might not be at all. Okay, because they're always different, and how we are being creative in any moment is different. Okay, so we've really warmed up at this point, I feel like. So let's dive into our main course, which is all about people, places, and things. But for our actions, we're going to reverse all that. We're going to start with things and then go to places and end with people. So when we pretend something is there when it really isn't, that's called pantomime in theater. And when we pantomime, we try to show exactly how we would hold or use something that as if it was really there. And by doing that, we're giving clues to our audience, which in this case is our partner or partners, as to what that item is. So my favorite way to start that is to show you this. All right, you can see this, and you know, let's see if we can kind of figure out what it is. I mean, we can see that it's something that's round. It's not heavy, you know, like I'm just kind of putting it from one hand to the other hand. It's not heavy. It's not squishy. I'm holding it in the same shape. So I feel like I need to give you another clue. There's a lot of things that it could be. So I'm just gonna. Okay, so Allegra, what do you think this is?
An apple.
Yeah, you knew. And you knew, I'm sure, because of the fact that I took a bite out of it. But let's say I had the same object. I didn't take a bite out of it this time. And instead, what I did was, okay, now what do you think it is?
Some type of ball, like a baseball.
Yeah, some type of ball. Yeah. And we could play even further with that, like getting even more specific. Maybe it even was a snowball for all we know. Okay, so you see how when you add information to what you're using, it helps your partner or your audience understand what it is. Okay, so in this activity, with your partner, if you're going to do it with partners at home, decide who is going to give and who is going to receive a gift. Or you could just watch Allegra and I'm going to give Allegra a gift and she's going to receive it, and then we will switch. And at home, you can switch as well. Okay, so the giver gets to decide how big that gift is and how heavy it is, or maybe it's really fragile and delicate, because they're going to pick up a box and that is going to give the receiver information about how big it is, how heavy it is, and so forth. The receiver will now open the box and they get to show us what's inside. They're going to take something out. They're going to use it in some way. They're going to say, thank you for this gift. And then in the end, we go back to the giver who's going to guess if they got that gift, what it is, and see if they got that right or not. Okay, so here's how it goes. I'm going to start out by saying, Allegra, I'm giving you a gift. And I'm going to give Allegra a very small gift. So Allegra, I'm giving you this gift.
Thank you.
Welcome.
This gift. Oh, wow. Look at this. This is perfect. Can I explain how I'm going to use it, or just continue to pantomime it?
You can do either one. Let's see if I can figure it out without too many clues, though. Let's see if I just watch you use it first.
Let me see. Use it on paper.
So do you like the magnifying glass?
I love this magnifying glass.
Because I knew you would. I picked it out just for you. Good.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Good. So obviously you can add more information if your partner doesn't quite get it at first. You can continue to use it a little bit more, or you can maybe give them some verbal clues as well. So we're going to switch now, and at home you can switch as well, or you can just keep watching us. Allegra, do you have a gift for me?
I do. Here's a gift.
Ooh.
Here you go.
Okay, thank you. All right, this is a little bigger. Let's see. I'm going to take the lid off. And there's quite a lot of wrapping in here, Allegra. Very wasteful. Oh, Allegra, thank you so much for my gift.
Oh, you're very welcome. The kitten. For the
I love a kitten. Hey, thank you. I think I'll name it Allegra. Okay, good. Thank you so much. Good. And so if you've had a chance to give a gift to one of your partners and receive a gift from one of your partners, everyone should be in a very good mood at this point, because who doesn't like gifts? Good. And you can always extend this one a little bit too by adding some qualifiers, such as the gift must be something that's really valuable, or the gift must be something that's surprising, or whatever. And you can continue to play it in that way. So good. So, okay. So now we're going to move on to places, and creating places or environments on stage is so much fun. We're going to start by just playing around with what we might find in a location. So with your partner, take a second to brainstorm some places that you've been this week. It could be anywhere. So we're just going to get some good ideas going. So Allegra, where are some places you've been this week? And I'm going to guess that maybe, you know, your office, is that a place you've been this week?
I've been to my office this week.
Mhm.
I've been to Longhorn Steakhouse this week. I've been to the pool this week too.
Okay.
And I've been to ballet class at a dance studio this week.
Ooh, those are good places. Those are good places. Okay, I'm going to add to that that I have been to a theater this week. I have been to a sushi restaurant this week. And I have been to a gardening store this week. So we've got a nice little stew pot of ideas here, places, lots of different places. I think for this activity, I'm going to pick the pool. I think that's a great one. I bet a lot of people are getting out and getting to the pool, and we're all aware of what a pool might have in and around it. So the way this works is you're going to decide in your group the order of people going. So it'll be number 1, number 2. And if it's just 2 people, you go back to number 1 again, and you kind of go back and forth. If it's multiple people, who's going to be first, second, third, and so forth. And again, you're going to just keep going around. The first person is going to either sit or stand in front of the others, and they're going to put their body into a frozen pose. And this just means a pose that doesn't move. And they're going to say what they are, and it's going to be something that they might find at this location. I'm going to give you an example that's not what Allegra and I are going to try. I'm going to give you an example of the post office. So let's say that we were doing the post office and I was going to be the first person coming out. I might come out and I might say, I am a mail slot. And I would just hold that pose. The second person might come out and they would attach to me. And then they would say something like, I am a letter. Okay, so this is my pose for a letter. Not great, but it's all right for now. So we've got a mail slot, and then the second person is attached to me, and they are a letter. So they are thinking of something that connects to the first thing that gets said. The third person might come out attached to that second person, and they might come out and say, I am a stamp. Okay, and we just keep going from there. The first person would start over again. Just keep cycling. If you've only got 2 people, it's really easy. First person, second person's attaching to the first person goes back and it reattaches to the second person. And you just kind of keep going until you've run out of ideas. All right. And again, remember, if you are chair bound, you don't have to attach to the person in front of you. You can just make your pose in your chair. Or if you're playing this over the computer, you're just making your pose in your square. All right. So Allegra and I are going to do the swimming pool. All right, Allegra, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm a pool.
Nice. Okay. I am a towel.
I am goggles.
I am a bottle of sunblock.
I am a swimmer.
I am flip-flops.
I am a diving board.
Ooh, good one. I am a cold drink. And I'll go ahead and stop us there because I'm already getting less ideas and less ideas as time goes on. But you get the idea on how that works. And hopefully you were either watching or gone ahead and picked one of your locations at home and just given it a try. It's a great way, first of all, to really loosen up and not worry about being silly with your body. It's also a great way to just keep that spontaneous thinking going. Just like I said about improvisations, you just take the idea that's handed to you and you just keep building on it. You don't reject it. Good. So that's really good. For the second part of this, we're going to need some new locations. So this time you're going to think of one in your head, but you're not going to say it. And you could take one from your brainstorm session just now, or you could give a category for new locations to think about. For instance, you could pick places that I feel really relaxed. That might be a category that you could think of. And just even saying that, I just got a little bit relaxed. So there's lots of different ways you could come up with that next category. So the person that's going to go first, they've thought of a category in their head and they're going to now create what's called 3 touches. And the way that works is they're going to pantomime using or picking up 3 things that would be in that location. And when they're done, their partner or partners is going to guess if they could figure out where that location was. Sometimes if you've got like a really young partner, they may want to shout it out as soon as they know it. And that's fine, of course, but try to let the performer get all 3 objects shown before you start guessing where it is. All right. So I have one in mind, Allegra. It's not from where our list just was, but I could say that it's under the category of places in our home. Okay. Okay. All right. Places in our home. So I'm going to go ahead and go first, and I'm just going to give myself a tiny bit more room to do this one. All right. And here are my 3 touches. Okay, those were my 3 touches. Allegra, do you think you might know where my location was?
The kitchen.
Yes, yes, perfect. So what's fun about that is you're really giving information and clues to your partner. You're not worried about, like, if I was doing a scene that was in a kitchen and I opened the fridge but didn't shut it again, you know, that's like problematic. Or I take stuff out and where does that knife come from anyway? Who cares? It doesn't matter. So for this, you're just doing 3 separate things. I opened a fridge. I took out, I don't know why I took a loaf of bread out of the fridge, but I did. And then I used a knife to slice it. 3 great clues. She got it right away. All right, Allegra, let's reverse that. So do you have a location that is either part of the house, the home, or something different?
Yes, I will do something different. It's
Okay.
a outdoor activity.
Got it. Okay. Outdoor location.
Outdoor location. Yes.
Outdoor location. Okay, great. And if you're watching at home, watch Allegra, look for her 3 touches and see if you can guess where her outdoor location is.
Okay, here's the first one. That's my first part. My second would be okay.
Okay.
And my third.
Oh, okay. All right. I have 2
harder.
Okay. Is it a playground?
Yes, it's a playground.
Okay, so
that was me sliding down a slide.
Oh, okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. Now, so the first 2 clues, I thought it might be an amusement park. And then that third one, when you were climbing across the jungle gym or whatever, that really clarified for me that it was a playground. So that was a great way to build the information you were giving me. That was great. Good job, Allegra. Yeah. Good. So, all right, let's move on to people. How are we doing on time? Okay. So to get us in the mood for characters, we're going to do something called freeze and pose. It is super simple. I'm going to call out a type of character, and then I'm going to count down from 4, 3, 2 to 1. And when I get to 1, you, all of you, are going to be in a frozen pose that shows us what you think that character might look like. Okay. So if you are standing, you can use your whole body for this. If you are sitting or looking into a computer, this is really important because this is going to give us a lot of clues about what this character might be. All right, so we're just going to try one as a sample. All right, Allegra, the first character is king or queen. King or queen. So I'm going to count down, and when I get to 1, she's going to be frozen, and all of you can try this as well as a king or queen. Here we go.
And do I freeze? I freeze in the position of, and I choose one.
Yeah, well, king or queen, depending on, you know, they're both going to give us the same type of character. Yeah. Okay, here we go. So 4, 3, 2, 1, freeze. Oh, good. Hold that. Hold that. So that is a great freeze. What she's doing right there. First of all, I love that you kind of lifted your face up which is a lot of those high power characters, king or queen. And here she's shown us that there's a crown on her head. So even though we're just looking at this tiny part of her, we get all the information about the character. Good, thank you, Allegra. All right, let's try a couple more. So when you're doing this, if you're doing this on your own, you could come up with any types of characters. You could play it with emotions. You could, a really fun way to do this is if you and your family are reading a book together, stop and try it with the characters that are in the story, especially if it's a character that might be in a different type of pose from one part of the book to another part of the book. Okay, so let's just try a couple more just for funsies. All right, we did king or queen. Let's do a superhero. There's a lot of possibilities for that one. All right, here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1, and pose. Yes, I love it. Okay, hold that pose for a second. And at home, I bet there are a lot of different superhero poses, but I bet there are some that are doing just what Allegra is doing right now, which is dun da da da. Off we go. And that is such a powerful pose. Maybe she's about to take off and fly into the sky like a superhero that flies. Maybe she's shooting some power out of her wristbands. We don't know. There's a lot of ways that that could go. But I tell you what, if we look at her, we know she's a superhero. Good. Good job, Allegra. Let's do 2 more. So this one, here we go, guys. You might be one. You might know one. You might have been one once. A sassy teenager. Sassy teenager, great one. All right, here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1, and pose. Oh yeah, here we go. All right. Now, again, we're looking at a small amount of information, but look at her expression. She is eye rolling. She wants nothing to do with our nonsense. She is just way too cool to listen to what we've got to say. Good. Thank you, Allegra. That was perfect. Okay. Last one, and then we'll move on. So this one would be, oh, I know, the opposite of that. Let's do a scolding parent. And if you're not sure what scolding means, it means, uh-oh, you're in trouble, okay? So we're gonna pose as a scolding parent. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1, and pose. Oh yeah, okay, I love this. If you're at home, how many of you have got your finger pointing out? Because that tells your partner or audience exactly the information they need. They're in trouble. And she's in the middle of a yell. I can tell she has got some information that she is really needing to share with you at a high volume very quickly, and you are in trouble. So you might need to start going backwards into that teenager pose where you roll your eyes back at her. Good, thank you, Allegra. Awesome. So much fun. We're going to take this activity one step further, and you can stand or sit for this. And I'm going to say a 4-sentence story. After each sentence, I'm just going to stop just like we just did. I will count down 4 to 1, and you're going to create a frozen pose that illustrates the sentence that I just said, just as if you were the illustration in a book. So on page 1 is our first sentence, and you are the illustration. And just like we just did, you'll hold it for a few seconds, and then we'll loosen up and we'll go on to the second sentence. All right, here we go. Sentence 1. One very late night, I was sitting at my desk trying to finish some work. All right, here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1, and pose. Good. And you just hold that for a second. And I can see that she's focused and she's working on something at her desk. Good. And relax, shake it off. Okay. Second sentence. Suddenly, I heard a strange sound coming from outside my room. Okay. 4, 3, 2, 1, and pose. Ooh, yes. Captures that exact moment of what is that sound I hear? Good. Nice illustration. Thank you, Allegra. Here comes the third sentence. I knew it must be monsters, zombies, bad guys. Who else could it be so late at night? I didn't know where I could hide. Okay, here goes. 4, 3, 2, 1, and pose. Yes, that's a panic face. She knows something terrible is out there. Good, thank you. All right, here comes the last sentence. The end of the story is, the door creaked slowly open. It was Mom bringing me some late night cookies. Woo! Okay, we're going to give that last illustration. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1, and pose. Yes, nice. She is happy to find out it was not a zombie or a bad guy and that it was cookies in the end. Good. Thank you, Allegra. That was so awesome. That's another activity that you can tie that in with so many things, so many themes, different things that you're coming across during your day, different books that you might be reading with your family. Again, just keeping that really super simple, really looking for some expressiveness that shows kind of the essence of each sentence or what the emotions might be of the person in that little story. Okay, so for our final main course activity, we're going to tell our partners a story about ourselves. So the category is going to be my happiest birthday. And as I'm talking and explaining it, you can already be going ahead and starting to think back into your little, memory Rolodex. What would that be? What would my happiest birthday be? The way it works is I would set the timer for 1 minute, but I think I'm just going to set it for 30 seconds. Okay, that seems a lot more reasonable today. Allegra is going to tell me the story of her happiest birthday, and she's going to talk until the timer is done. 30 seconds doesn't seem like it's very much, but sometimes you just feel like you don't know what to say with the rest of those seconds. So if you kind of plop out, try to go back and maybe add some details to what you already said. Oh, that's right. I remember now all the balloons were gold or whatever. Okay. So you can kind of fill those 30 seconds up. So if you're going to do this in the future on your own, you would take turns and you would tell your story to your partner, and then they would tell their story to you. I think we're just probably going to focus on this going in one direction today, or you can just sit back and watch Allegra and I go through this. Now, here's the hard part. The listener cannot ask any questions or make any comments. All they can do is just listen for 30 seconds. And at the end of that 30 seconds, the listener is going to say back the story only with 3 sentences. They'll just say the beginning of it, the middle of it, and the end of it. So you tell this whole story about your favorite birthday, you talk for 30 seconds, and then I will come back and say, the day started when you got a bouquet of flowers. That might be the first sentence, okay? And in the middle, you had all your friends surprised you at dinner. That would be the middle. And you went to bed feeling really grateful. And that would be the end. And that's it, okay? You see how this works? So one person's telling their story, the second person's just listening, but then going back and saying a beginning, a middle, and an end. Now, theoretically, you should just accept whatever your listener tells you back, but let's work together. So if you feel like that's really what I don't see the beginning as being, you can work with your partner. You can come to an agreement as to what those 3 sentences are. Okay. It's not so complicated as it sounds. Let's start with just that much, and then we'll do the second part. Okay. So I'm going to set my timer for 30 seconds, and I'm going to listen to Allegra's story without commenting. And if you're going to listen to your partner's story, feel free to turn the volume off for 30 seconds, and you can watch when I start to talk again. You'll know that 30 seconds is up. All right, here we go. Allegra, you ready? Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead.
My favorite birthday was my 30th birthday. Me and my friends went out to brunch. We then went out to a winery, and then we went to the Kennedy Center for a show late at night. We had balloons, we had cake, great food, great company, and I had friends travel in as well for that trip.
Good. Okay. So that was 30 seconds. It does go really fast. So like I said, ordinarily I would make that be a minute. All right, Allegra. So that sounds like a great birthday. Can I say that the first sentence of that, or the first part of it, is that you went to brunch with all your friends? Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm going to say that the middle part of it is, it wasn't quite the middle, but I'm going to make this the second chunk, is that you saw a show at the Kennedy Center.
Yes.
Oh, it's okay. You can adjust me.
Yeah, I'm going to adjust it to that end of the day was Kennedy Center.
End of the day. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So first was having brunch with your friends.
Yes.
And then in the middle, maybe the winery.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Brunch. Then the second part is you went to a winery. And then the third part or the end is that you saw a show at the Kennedy Center.
Yep.
It is a great birthday, by the way. Okay. So if you've gotten that far, if you're doing this at home and you've told your story and your listener or listeners have now given you back a first sentence, a second sentence, and a third sentence, here's what you're going to do next. You're going to come up with a gesture or a pose that captures each one of those sentences. Okay. So our first sentence is that Allegra started the day by going to brunch with her friends. So Allegra, would this feel right if the first part of that was that I was happily eating something?
Yes.
Okay, so that's gonna be my pose for sentence one. Okay. Sentence two seems like an easy one for me because she went to a winery. So we're gonna pick up a glass. And again, I'm gonna have that be a happy. Okay. So in fact, I may drink and have that be a moving pose. Drink a little more. Okay. And then the third part is that she saw a show at the Kennedy Center. And so let's see for that third part. And by the way, I didn't say this, but you can work together with your partner on these three actions as well. So Allegra, help me out on this one. How would you like to show with a pose or gesture that you saw a show at the Kennedy Center?
Maybe sitting in a chair with like close up, like leaning.
Yeah, like watching.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to review how that's going to go, it's eating really happy, it's drinking some wine, and then it's watching a show up close. All right, now, if you're doing this at home, we're rushing along here, but you can watch Allegra and I now go back and tell this story in 3 sentences with the 3 poses or actions. So Allegra, do you want to say the sentences or do you want to pose?
I'll pose.
Okay, so part 1, I had a wonderful brunch with all of my friends. Part 2, we all went to a winery. And part 3, I saw a show at the Kennedy Center. Nice, good job, beautiful. That was so perfect. It's that simple. Again, you can do this in so many different ways. You can come up with a story from any part of your life. You can add action to those poses. And it can be really fun and really satisfying for the person whose story it is to kind of see it told in a performance way. So great job. All right. I know we're getting down to the end of our time, so I'm going to jump right into that last bit of sweetness, just a tiny bit of dessert here at the end. And that is to calm ourselves back down and to transition back out of all of our playful drama. And it's a very small, simple end of play activity. And the way it works is you can sit facing your partner's back, or if you've got multiple people, each person is facing the back of the person in front of them. And all you're going to do is you're going to trace on their back. And I suggest that you trace a letter, and you can trace it nice and big and slow so they can feel it. Or you can trace a shape. Pick an easy one, pick a hard one. Or if you're really further along in this, you can spell out a whole word, one letter at a time, kind of pause in between each one. So all you're doing is you're ending this day with something that involves touch, with something that reties you back into the people that you've been with this whole time. You're bringing all your senses down to just trying to feel and be present for whatever's happening, whatever shape is being formed as a sense of touch on your back. And you can keep that going until everybody is nice and calm down. You could play that one anywhere. Again, great waiting for the doctor's office kind of game where you just, and another thing you can do is if you can't use their back, just tell them to look away and trace something out on their arm. Again, just getting that sense of touch back with each other. And I'm going to stop right there. I could do this all day. I love playing all these games. I think it is such a great and joyful experience to have with your family. So I'm so glad you had me do this, Allegra. Thank you so much.
Oh, I loved it. Thank you so much, Haley. At this point, I'm going to invite our audience to submit your questions. If you have any questions, you can put it in the Q&A box and I'll read them as they come in. And we do have a question for you, Haley. For family caregivers, specifically, how does drama help them connect with their family members? How could you answer that?
Well, I think that, again, I mean, it goes back to anytime you're sharing anything creative and you're creating something together, whether it is the smallest little activity, like some of these games that I did, or maybe you're working on some bigger project, there's ways to really connect with each other as you agree on things, as you build off of each other, that is very different from any other way that we're connecting during the day. A lot of times we're in such a hurry, or I've got this objective, you've got that objective, and you're just trying to make the most of your time, as opposed to really sitting down and connecting. And like I said, building off of each other. So I think it's a very unique connection that you make with your family members.
Absolutely. I've also heard of this term, or people saying, everybody should do drama at some point in their life, whether it's a work situation or just at some point. The significance of that quote, everybody should do drama, whether it be to learn how to communicate, to work together. Could you bring out some of the highlights of what drama does for like our soul?
Absolutely. And there's so many practical things that it does. Again, you get more comfortable talking to people. You get more comfortable being a presenter of ideas. You get more comfortable working in a collaborative way with people, which is so important, right? Talking in every possible way, from school to jobs, to just being out in the world these days, right? Like everything is so, and instead through drama, we're really understanding how you collaborate on things with other people. And certainly there are a lot of ways that it opens up creative thinking for people. And again, that's a really important quality to have in work, in school, in life, so that you are not locked into any way of thinking. It is encouraging you to always look outside for other options, look outside that box. So those are just a few, but there's just infinite other ways. I just think it's so important, in fact, for everyone. Oh, and one other thing related to that is that quite often we grow up with these ideas that we can't do some of these creative, artistic endeavors, that we can't dance, or that we don't have the ability to sing, or all of these different artistic things. And theater is really specific, where we just feel like, I don't have any understanding of that. I have no comfort level with that. I can't be an actor. But hopefully by breaking things down the way I did today, you can see that it's not this lofty thing. It's not about, going out and getting a Broadway part. It is really just about being comfortable with your own creativity, and everyone has that.
Yes, and that leads me into my last question for you too. Is someone asked, what's the difference between drama and acting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, so drama is exactly that. It is about thinking creatively, playing creatively, and acting to me is more of the craft of theater. So you could go on to study to be an actor, but you don't have to in order to be working with drama and to be engaged in drama. It's all part of the same family.
Absolutely. And as we see, it can be used for all ages, for a family who has children and older adults in the family. There's no age limit really to drama.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, well, I thank you so much. We're getting ready to wrap up our time. So again, as you sign out, if you could do the brief survey and take a moment to answer those questions to help us provide topics that you're interested in. And Haley, thank you again for sharing your knowledge and guiding us through these games and drama exercises that are practical for the whole family. I just thank you so much. It was tons of fun.
Thanks for having me. That was great.
And for our audience, thank you so much for being here. Our next intergenerational workshop will be Saturday, July 9th from 10:30 to 11:30. You Are My Sunshine Intergenerational Music Workshop. We hope you can join us then. And I wish everyone a great afternoon. Thank you. Take care.